Hello and welcome to the Tomcast. I'm Tom, president and dictator for life of 515comics.com. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple things on today's Tomcast. One, I wanted to give you a little update on some new tarot card designs. I worked out two new ones. I did Dyro and Burena from the Council and came up with fun little subtitles for them. And yeah, I'm pretty thrilled with how they turned out. So I'm excited to actually get them. I went ahead and ordered them today, so hopefully we'll get them in the next week or so. Next thing I wanted to do was go ahead and use the Tomcast. I've done this before, use the Tomcast as a platform to answer tags that I receive on the old DeviantArt. This is a tag that's been going around on DeviantArt a lot recently, and it's one that I really enjoy, and it's called 8 Facts. And it's just, hey, I like this character, I want to learn more about him, so hey, you post 8 facts about it. It's talking about characters that you've created, which is something that I already really like to do, so this is as good an excuse as any for me to talk about them. This one's for Randall Lockheed, who, if there was like one main character, he pretty much is that main character. Fact number 1, Randall is just a name of some kid that was in band with me back in middle school. I was drawing a bunch of these characters back in middle school who would eventually be put into my later comics, and I was just naming them after people I knew. Lockheed is just sort of a change-up of Lockhart, which is the last name of one of the characters from Final Fantasy VII, which I was super obsessed with at the time and still really enjoy. So, yeah. Fact number 2. So Randall has green hair, and in fact he actually has green hair all over his body. It's just I don't usually color his arm hair. That is not something that he was born with. That's something that came from eating a root-like vegetable known, well, it's a root vegetable, a carrot-like root vegetable known as sets, which are grown on the planet of Nextuus. Not everyone who eats them gets this discoloration. It's just kind of a genetic thing if you're susceptible to it, but it is permanent. And Randall grew up on a set farm, and so ate them a lot and had exposure to the raw plant a lot. And yeah, so if he didn't have this discoloration, he'd probably be like a light brown or sandy blonde haired gentleman. Fact number 3. In a previous version of the comic, Randall was actually a member of a team of bounty hunters, more in line with like the characters from Outlaw Star or Cowboy Bebop. Definitely more in that vein and less in the vein of treasure hunters that he is now. He would not have been a main character in that storyline. He would have been still teamed up with Arik in 115 and another character who you can see in the picture who's not showed up in this comic and may not ever show up in this comic. But they would have been acting sort of in opposition to the Nyx team of Tony, RJ, and Roy, who would have been more the main characters of that storyline. So that didn't happen. Fact number 4. Randall was studying at Forset Technical College with Timothy, another character from the comic, to become a cybernetics apprentice, but dropped all that at the last minute. He was almost done with schooling, but dropped it to follow his dream of becoming a treasure hunter. Fact number 5. So Randall has had encounters with both the Waywacry and the Nyx before the events of the Search for the Ocean Shard have unfolded. He's never made it onto like their list. Like they've never like come after him, but he's had enough interaction with them to know that he doesn't ever want to be on a list like that. Fact number 6. Randall was not based on me in any way. He was not really based on anyone physically in any way, specifically. But he has become the character that whose attitude and attributes sort of match mine, at least his attitude. We don't really share a whole lot in common, but of all the characters, he's the one that I allow to kind of speak with my voice most often. Fact number 7. Randall's attitude and character was probably most influenced by Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop. It was a pretty influential show for me, especially right before I started making this version of Nextuus. And then also you could sprinkle in basically attributes from any overprotective dad-like character from any cartoons, movies, or comics that I've ever seen. And fact number 8. Randall, like I said, came from a design that I drew way back in 7th or 8th grade in middle school, and basically the only thing I kept from that design was the green spiky hair. I was super into robot arms and shoulder armor, like played Final Fantasy VII, watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z. This is how it happened. These is the things. So that was 8 facts about Randall Lockheed, the de facto main character of my comic Nextuus. So if you don't read my comic, give it a look sometime. If you do already, I hope you learned something new and interesting about one of the characters from the story that you read. Anyway, thanks as always for watching. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. I'll see you next week.